Okay, so we just finished up doing the actual skin retouching itself, so pimples and creases and clothing and that sort of stuff. In this next bit, what I want to be doing is looking at retouching with tone. So it's similar to like a dodge and burn layers sort of thing, but rather than us exaggerating the tone that's already there, we want to be reducing the tone that's already there. So let me just start off by creating that layer we're going to work on. So layer, new layer, and then we're just going to call this black and white tone. That's fine. And then we're going to choose soft light for our blending mode and just click 50% gray. Okay, and hit OK on that. So you should see that it has no effect at all on the image at the moment. What we're going to do next is I'm just going to try and exaggerate or highlight some of the areas that I need to work on that might not be obvious with all the color in the image, because I just want to be working on the tone itself rather than the actual color. So I'm going to just add a hue saturation layer here. Okay, and just reduce the saturation. I've done it as a layer because I want to delete that in a second. And another thing that I usually add is to darken that whole, darken the whole thing down. Okay, and I simply do that by adding a curves layer and then changing that to multiply. Okay, now in this instance, that's obviously really dark. So let's just bring that way down to like, 10%, something like that for now. And let's come in here and let's see what I'm referring to when I'm saying about tone and that sort of thing. So I want to be, so like here, I just think that, it's like a dark smudgy area that maybe we could just alleviate a little bit. So I'm just going to come across and grab brush and soft brush, and we're going to be using just regular white paint. Okay, just white and black on this layer, and you need a really low opacity, so like anything from 5 to 10%. So let's just come in here at 6%, something like that. And I'm just going to paint on there just really lightly. And this is just going to help to alleviate some of that tone, just to transition a little bit easier. Okay, what else have we got? So with lighting, I'm looking for obviously clean lighting, but clean lighting, what does that really mean? It just means that you've got, it's just, it's not fussy. Even if it is really complex lighting, 5 or 6 lights, the light itself doesn't look complex, it doesn't look fussy, it just looks beautifying, and that usually means that you've got larger areas or expanses of larger expanses of tone. So for example here we've got, there's nothing wrong with anything going on here, but I just feel there's a darker patch that's separating these two larger lighter patches. Okay, so I'm just basically going to join those two patches up by eliminating this darker patch in the middle. So that's what I mean by clean lighting. So for example, you see people who've got hard lights that overlap, and you have like a nose shadow coming down across the face here, and then you have like another nose shadow coming down, and they start to, and they join in certain areas, so it's darker in one area and then lighter in another. That's just sloppy, lazy lighting, okay? And it's just visually not very attractive. And again, I'm just trying to soften the transition here. Here as well, okay? This is just, obviously, it's not necessarily the lighting, it's just maybe the shape of the face, but I'm just going to soften the transition there as well. And just in there, just that shadow, just in there, just gonna maybe just line it just a little bit. Okay. I just keep turning that back off and on just to have a look at the image without the colour in there, so it's not distracting. You see here, I just think there's a couple of bits that I didn't see when the colour was present. I mentioned this before, but this part of the process is probably the part that requires the most skill, just because you sort of need to learn what you're looking for, okay, in terms of, you know, shapes of the body and that sort of thing, where certain highlights would be, where you think they sort of should be, and that sort of thing, okay. And spotting, you know, visually being able to see the differences in light and tone just takes time. It's just like learning anything else. People who, you know, learn to hear variations in the music and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm pretty much tone deaf. I can't tell if something's, you know, played off key or something like that, whereas somebody who can, you know, professional musicians can hear it. It's just a difference, really. It just takes time. Okay, so what else we got? Something just a little bit here as well. But as you can see, I've still got the, you know, 6% opacity, so it's just really gradual stuff. Don't go wading in at, you know, 10-15%. It's just, you know, it's just going to make too much of a difference that it's just going to look ugly. So again, here we know that this should be a solid highlight, pretty much. Okay, yes, that may be a, you know, a muscle or something like that, but I just want to clean up a little bit. Okay, just so that highlight follows all the way down in a straight line. Again in here. Another thing that I often see with gelled lighting, with colours, and that is that the fingers can start to have like darker tips and the knuckles and that sort of thing. I don't know what, it may just be because it's slightly harder lighting or whether it's the colours itself, but I do tend to always, as a rule, just come in and just lighten the ends of the fingers a little bit and the knuckles, just because they always tend to be a little bit darker for some reason. Just okay. Let's keep moving down. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to soften this a little bit with some white paint in here as well, just a touch. With something so as dark as this, you can start to see that it's actually changing the colour as well, or visually it appears to be a different colour. Okay. It's all starting to look quite similar in terms of how dark it is down here, so it's probably not a huge amount we can do. Let's just come back again here. Just want a nice clean highlight here. Okay, so just making just tiny amounts of difference, but just to clean it up a little bit. just cheating slightly here. I'm just really soft, large soft brush, and just opening up the shadows a little bit. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think, famous last words, we're almost done. Just going to pop back to the skin layer and just spot that there. Cool, okay. So we don't need these anymore. Let's delete that one, delete that one. Let's just have a look at the face a second. Okay, not dramatic, but you can sort of see what I mean. Yeah, you're just creating just cleaner planes of tone. Okay. Cool. Okay. So that is it for our black and white tone layer. In the next section, I'm just going to be going over actually smoothing out some of this skin. Okay, I'll see you in that one.